I emerge from the cocoon blinded, purple and blue hues vibrant upon the reverse of my glued eyelids, consumed in brightness. Within the confused I fight it, and as if guided I let the light return to my two iris. I have been entombed in silence, and I now see the nature of what it means to be human is timeless. As I step out I get an image of heaven's gate, which I comprehend now as simply a mental state. I feel the lift of a heavy weight as I step away from my resting place. With the initial breath I take my wings, separate and begin to emanate. I am no longer bound by anything. The crowns of many kings pale to the true power, reinventing rings. I exit out my shedded skin, stretch my limbs, and start to observe my surroundings. I'm perched in the mountains, springs emerge like fountains under the ferns and the flowers. Astounding birds circle around them, sounding chirps as they search the fertile grounds for the abundance of worms squirming about them. I hear a faint humming in the distance. I gaze from the summit and listen. To my amazement I discover that which appears to be something of fiction. I blink as if my vision was wrong. Raised above a ridge of rocks and primitive forest, the grace of a humongous city hovers. Like fingers of God the rays of the sun glisten upon it. Craft lift off and disappear in an instant like comets. And I realize I've awakened in an era of infinite knowledge. The sight reminds me when I was a kid and into Wicca and Magica. I was once given a picture of Lapula, so vivid it appeared an image of a camera. And as I'm having this throwback I notice that sitting next to me is a 20th century Kodak. Is it my destiny to take the very photo that I had as my own as a lad? I must be going mad, but then I remember it was some shady guy who we gave it to. While I searched the library for some books on ancient tribes, could I have bridged space and time, come back to myself as a kid and acted as my own sacred guide? Makes absolute sense. Up until I was 8 I had an imaginary friend who apparently always told me what would be happening next. I take the snap and visions begin to flash in my head. A big and a piece of string intrinsically wrapped in a web, an infinite tapestry of everything that is, with and has been, yet still it cannot be accurately expressed. I sense a glance and a man steps from behind a tree that wasn't there. I see an entire reality that exists simultaneously side by side with mine, of which I wasn't aware. Admittedly I got a bit scared, but it became clear to me this man was a friend. He had long brown hair and pale skin, a profound stare and an angel's grin. I seemed to be able to telepathically communicate with him. He told me he was what we would call an alien, yet he took the form of a human so I could more easily relate to him. I then noticed I'm no longer in the forest I awakened in, but I had completely shifted into the dimension from which he had entered, and found myself amidst an ethereal city in suspension, which itself had a living sentience, and where everything had a felt interconnection. I was no longer confined in time's continual progression, for it was within my possession, a figment of my perception which shifted my discretion, absorbed in the blissfulness of my senses, so much so that I was the object as well as the witnessing awareness. It's like the internal and external were alchemized, and I was the embodiment of the universe's intelligent mind. The being told me I got living my true purpose when as a young adult I'd write. My consciousness was imbued in the verses I would tell on the mic, and it's this unfathomable side the concepts I worked with helped me actualize. For words carry a magical vibe, and out of hip-hop the most eternal element is rhyme, for it is what was propelling all life. When I was younger it made me hopeful I'd become in tune with creation, and now through global permeation my vocals fuel illumination. Thus how I became known as non-local communication.